and Paul Rieckhoff, founder of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America, and, of course, host of the Independent Americans podcast. Paul, I want to turn to you first. President Biden has given 3 other speeches about democracy before, but I don't know. This one seemed different. This one seemed heavier, darker, more pressing.
Seems like he's on the offensive, and I think that's what's been needed. I think we've needed to name it as a national security threat. I've been talking about it on this network and other places for over a year. I think what we're facing is what I've called an American insurgency. It's a group of people who want to violently overthrow our government. They want to disrupt our politics, and they're extremists. They are a part of the Republican Party. They're not the entire Republican Party, but they're a threat to our national security. They want to disrupt our government. They want to defund our troops. They want to shut down promotions for military people, and they ultimately want to reverse the election. So I think you have to name it for what it is. And as an independent, I've been waiting for the Democrats to take the gloves off, call it what it is, and fight back. I think it's about our national security. Our enemies have been celebrating this. And I think it's about time that Biden stood up and went on the offensive and did his job as ultimately commander-in-chief, because this is beyond politics. This is not just a squabble between 2 parties. This is about defending our democracy and now even defending our military, where the former president and commander-in-chief has threatened to have our chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff executed. I mean, this is executed.
Yes.
This is how high the stakes are, and it's about time we got serious about it.
He knows that. Do you think that, are they all watching 60 Minutes last Sunday night? Will the message get to them? Because a lot voted for him.
Yes, they've known this for years.
They've been voted for him anyway?
No, but they've been waiting for the American public to notice, right? Like the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of
Staff.
Yeah, but
a lot of people from the military, from law enforcement, voted for him.
But many of them can't speak out, right? Someone like Milley
but they can vote.
They can, and they are an influential part of this. I think independents, roughly 50% of veterans are independents, and they watch this stuff, and they've seen what happens. But I think they have been crying out within the military in whatever way they can for years. Milley speaking out like he has is critical, and he's crossing almost a Rubicon that chairmen don't cross, but that's what this moment requires. And then we've also had 7 secretaries of defense speak out. We've had most retired flag grades speak out, and they're trying to appeal to the middle of America, who's somehow on the fence here and still keeps Trump up in the polls. That's why they're speaking out.
Stop that, or we'll say something. But what do you think about all the Republicans that said nothing? All sorts of Republicans who are veterans themselves.
I think it's cowardly. It's treasonous. I mean, at this point, it's really treasonous. And I think we have to name it for what it is. What you see in Mark Milley is a true patriot. What you see in C.Q. Brown is a true patriot. What you see in the former president is now a traitor, someone who is an enemy of this country, who wants to undermine us, who is a threat to our national security. And I think an important point here is that I think this is the political hill that Trump's campaign dies on.
Really?
When you attack the military.
Haven't we said this before?
We have. But if the question is if the Democrats can actually capitalize on it. Can they get this message through? Did anybody hear Biden's speech today? Can they get Milley out on the campaign trail? Because ultimately, independents are going to decide this election. And those are folks that care about national security. Many of them are veterans. And if you come after the military consistently like this, I think this is the destruction of the GOP. It's going to fragment. It can't hold this. This is not the party of John McCain, the party of Colin Powell anymore. And ultimately, this is what could swing the election in Biden's favor if he can capitalize it and stay on the offensive.